Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and fellow dreamers, thank you for being here today. The title of my speech is Comfort Kills. Yes, you heard that right. That cozy blanket of routine, that familiar path of least resistance. It's not your friend. It's a predator in disguise, lurking in the shadows of your daily life, slowly draining your potential until there's nothing left but regret. Today I'm here to wake you up, shake you out of that slumber, and show you why stepping into the fire of discomfort is the only way to truly live. Let me start with the first truth. Comfort is a silent trap. It whispers sweet nothings like, you've earned this rest, or why rock the boat? It feels good. Oh, it feels amazing in the moment. Binge watching your favorite show instead of hitting the gym. Scrolling endlessly on your phone instead of learning a new skill. Staying in a dead-end job because it's predictable. But here's the reality. Comfort doesn't build muscles. It atrophies them. It doesn't sharpen your mind. It dulls it. Think about it. Every great invention, every breakthrough in history came from someone willing to leave the safety net. Comfort keeps you small, safe, and ultimately forgotten. Now, let's look at proof from the real world. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company, Apple, in 1985. He could have retreated to a comfortable life of consulting or retirement. Instead, he dove into discomfort, starting Me XT, pouring his soul into Pixar and fighting his way back. That pain birthed the iPhone, revolutionized animation, and made him a legend. Or take J.K. Rowling. A single mom on welfare, rejected by 12 publishers. Comfort would have said, give up, write as a hobby. But she embraced the grind, the rejection, the uncertainty, and gave us Harry Potter, a billion-dollar empire. On the flip side, how many talented people do you know who stayed in their lane, played it safe, and now wonder, what if? Comfort didn't kill them outright. It eroded them one lazy day at a time. Science backs this up too. Our brains are wired for survival, not thriving. When we're comfortable, dopamine, the reward chemical, flows easily from low-effort wins like likes on social media or takeout dinner. But over time, this creates a tolerance. You need more comfort to feel the same high, and motivation for real challenges plummets. Studies from psychologists like Carol Dweck on Growth Mindset show that fixed, comfortable thinking leads to stagnation. Biologically, your body adapts to ease. Muscles weaken without resistance. Immune systems slack without stress. It's evolution's cruel joke. Comfort prepares you for nothing but obsolescence in a world that never stops changing. And in our modern lives, the consequences are everywhere. In your career, AI is automating jobs left and right. Stay comfortable, skip upskilling, and you're obsolete by 40. In relationships, avoid the hard conversations, the vulnerability. Comfort says, don't upset the peace, and watch love turn to resentment, then divorce. Health, that couch is a killer. The World Health Organization says physical inactivity causes 3.2 million deaths a year, more than smoking in some regions. Comfort isn't relaxing. It's a slow suicide of the soul and body. But here's the good news. You can fight back. Comfort kills, but discomfort ignites. Start small. Wake up 30 minutes earlier tomorrow. Say no to that easy excuse. Pick one goal that scares you. Run a 5K pitch your idea at work. Ask for that promotion and chase it relentlessly. Embrace failure as your teacher. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb in comfort. He failed 1,000 times in the heat of experimentation. View discomfort as the gym for your character. Build resilience like a muscle. Surround yourself with people who push you, not pamper you. My friends, life is not a rehearsal. It's the main event. Don't let comfort rob you of your one wild, precious shot at greatness. Step out. Feel the burn. Grow. Because if comfort kills, then courage resurrects. Thank you. Now go make yourself uncomfortable. Your future self will thank you. Comfort feels like the ultimate reward, a soft landing after a long day of effort. A place where the world stops demanding and simply lets you be. It's the warm glow of your favorite chair. The predictable rhythm of a routine that never surprises. The quiet satisfaction of knowing exactly what comes next. In those moments, it seems almost cruel to question it. Why disturb something that brings peace? Yet this very allure is what makes comfort so dangerous. It doesn't announce itself with alarms or warnings. It slips in quietly, like a fog that settles without notice, blurring the edges of ambition and softening the drive to reach further. Before you realize it, the boundaries of your world have shrunk, and what once felt like rest has become a cage with velvet walls. The trap works because it rewards inaction with immediate pleasure. Every time you choose the familiar over the unknown, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine, reinforcing the behavior. Skip the workout for another episode of your show, and you feel relieved, not deprived. Decline a challenging project because the current one isn't good enough, and you avoid the stress of failure. These micro-decisions compound silently. Over weeks, months, years, they form a pattern. The path of least resistance becomes the only path you know. Growth requires friction. New skills strain the mind, risks strain the nerves, but comfort eliminates friction entirely. Without it, there is no pressure to adapt, no need to stretch, and eventually, no capacity to do so when the world inevitably shifts. What begins as a refuge calcifies into limitation. The skills you once prided yourself on grow outdated while you weren't looking. The dreams you postponed until the time is right gather dust in the attic of your mind. Relationships that once sparked with possibilities settle into predictable scripts because rocking the boat feels unnecessary. You tell yourself you're content, and maybe you are for now, but contentment born of avoidance is fragile. It shatters the moment life demands more than you've prepared for. A promotion that requires public speaking, a crisis that needs quick thinking, a goal that demands sustained effort. Comfort hasn't just kept you safe, it has left you broke. The deepest deception is that comfort convinces you it's permanent. It sells the illusion of control, stick with what you know, and nothing bad will happen. But the world doesn't negotiate with stillness. Markets evolve, bodies age, opportunities vanish. The colleague who embraced night classes now leads the team you once qualified for. The friend who moved cities for love now thrives in a life you can only imagine from afar. Meanwhile, you remain exactly where you were, not because you failed, but because you never tried. Comfort didn't push you out. It simply never let you leave. In the end, the silent trap closes not with a bang, but with a whisper. It's too late. The years you meant to start writing, running, learning, loving fully, they slip away while you were busy being comfortable. The tragedy isn't that you lack talent or time. It's that you traded potential for predictability, one small surrender at a time. Comfort doesn't kill you outright. It kills the version of you that could have been bold, capable, alive with possibility, and leaves behind a shadow that still fits perfectly in the chair you never left. Steve Jobs never intended to become a cautionary tale, yet in 1985 he stood at the edge of comfort's cliff. Apple, the company he co-founded in his parents' garage, had grown into a sprawling empire, and its board, people he had hired, voted him out. At 30, he could have retreated to a gilded exile. Consulting gigs, speaking fees, a life of recounting past glories over steak dinners. Instead, he bought a majority stake in a failing computer graphics outfit called Pixar and poured $50 million of his own money into NeXT, a startup no one asked for. The discomfort was brutal. Pixar bled cash for a decade. NeXT sleek black cube sold poorly, and the press mocked him as a has-been. Yet that decade of friction produced Toy Story, the iPhone's operating system, and a comeback that redefined 3 industries. Comfort would have preserved his reputation. Discomfort forged his legend. Centuries earlier, a young Vincent van Gogh chose the opposite path and paid the price. In 1880, after failing as an art dealer, teacher, and preacher, he settled into the quiet town of Culemborg with a modest pension from his brother Theo. The routine was gentle: morning walks, afternoon sketches, evenings with books. He produced competent drawings, sold none, and told himself the slow pace suited his fragile nerves. When Theo urged him to move to the harsher light of Arles, Vincent resisted. "I'm finally at peace." He stayed comfortable for 2 more years, refining the same muted style while his mental health quietly eroded. Only after he forced himself south, into blinding sun and hostile neighbors, did the swirling skies and blazing yellows explode onto canvas. The comfort of Culemborg gave the world a footnote. The torment of Arles gave it starry night. In the summer of 1962, a shy 16-year-old named Oprah Winfrey won a scholarship to a better high school in Nashville. The sensible choice, comfortable, predictable, was to stay in the familiar Milwaukee neighborhood where her grandmother raised her. Instead, she boarded a Greyhound bus alone, clutching a paper bag of fried chicken and a dream she could barely articulate. Nashville in the city meant sharing a single bedroom with strangers, reciting speeches in front of judgmental classmates, and working late-night shifts at a radio station that paid her in hamburgers. Classmates mocked her rural accent. Teachers doubted her polish. She practiced until her throat bled, cried in bathroom stalls, and refused to quit. That discomfort compounded in the highest-rated talk show in history, a media empire, and a net worth north of $2 billion. Comfort would have kept her safe in Milwaukee. Discomfort made her Oprah. Contrast that with the cautionary collapse of Kodak. In 1975, a young engineer named Steve Sasson invented the digital camera inside Kodak's labs. The prototype was clunky, the images grainy, but the implications were seismic. Executives gathered in a wood-panel boardroom, stared at the future, and chose comfort. Film margins were fat, sometimes 70%, and digital threatened the entire ecosystem of cameras, chemicals, and photo finishing kiosks. They buried the invention, promoted Sasson to a quiet research role, and doubled down on what already worked. By 2012, Kodak filed for bankruptcy while Instagram, built on the technology Kodak pioneered, was sold for $1 billion. Comfort didn't just kill innovation, it killed the company. Everyday lives echo the same pattern in miniature. Maria, a mid-level accountant in Sao Paulo, turned down a promotion in 2019 because it required relocating to Singapore and learning Mandarin. The salary bump was tempting, but the thought of leaving her aging parents, her weekend soccer league, her favorite churrascaria, it felt like too much. She stayed, mastered Excel shortcuts instead of a new language, and watched her ambitious colleague Sophia take the role. 3 years later, Sophia runs the Asia-Pacific division from a corner office overlooking Marina Bay. Maria still sits in the same cubicle, now reporting to someone 5 years younger. The discomfort Maria avoided lasted maybe 6 months. Culture shock, homesickness, awkward introductions. The comfort she chose became a life sentence of a what if. History doesn't record Maria's story, but it repeats it in cubicles, classrooms, and kitchens around the world every single day. Your brain is a prediction machine, and comfort is its favorite fuel. When life stays within expected parameters, same route to work, same lunch order, same playlist, the prefrontal cortex barely fires. Neural pathways already carved from years of repetition handle the load with minimal energy. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter of reward and motivation, trickles out in small, reliable doses for each low-effort win. A notification ping, a finished episode, a good enough report. Over time, this creates a tolerance effect, similar to any drug. The same stimuli that once sparked excitement now barely register, so you seek more comfort to chase the same mild high. Meanwhile, the hippocampus, the brain's mapmaker for novelty, atrophies from disuse. Neuroimaging studies show that people stuck in rigid routines display thinner gray matter in regions tied to learning and adaptability. The brain literally shrinks to fit the smaller life you've given it. Push into discomfort and the chemistry flips. A new challenge, cold call, cold shower, foreign language, triggers the release of norepinephrine, sharpening focus and etching the experience. Dopamine surges not from easy wins, but for progress toward a hard goal, a pattern neuroscientist Jacques Panksepp calls the seeking system. fMRI scans of musicians mastering difficult passages or athletes pushing past plateaus reveal hyperactivity in the ventral striatum. The same reward center lit up by cocaine, except here the high is earned. Repeated exposure to manageable stress also upregulates brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein that acts like Miracle-Gro for neurons. Rats forced to navigate changing mazes grow denser dendritic trees. Humans who learn juggling over 6 weeks show measurable increases in white matter. Comfort starves the brain of BDNF. Discomfort fertilizes it. The body mirrors the betrayal. Prolonged ease downregulates the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, the stress response system. Cortisol stays low, which sounds healthy until you realize moderate cortisol spikes are necessary signals for metabolic flexibility and immune calibration. Without them, insulin sensitivity drops, inflammation simmers, and muscle protein synthesis stalls. And I saw a 2023 study in Nature Metabolism tracked 10,000 adults over 15 years. Those with the least variability in daily step counts, the ultimate marker of routine comfort, had triple the risk of sarcopenia and double the risk of metabolic syndrome compared to peers who mix sprints, walks, and rest. The body, like the brain, adapts to what you demand. Demand nothing, and it prepares for obsolescence. Psychologist Carol Dweck's decades of research on mindsets crystallize the human cost. Children praise for effort. You worked hard. Develop growth mindsets and embrace harder puzzles. Those praise for innate ability. You're so smart. Choose easier tasks to protect their label. By adulthood, the fixed mindset group comforts loyalists, shows higher rates of depression and lower career attainment. Their implicit belief, struggle equals deficiency. A 2021 meta-analysis of 58,000 workers found that employees who avoided stretch assignments citing "I'm not ready" were 40% more likely to be passed over for promotion within 3 years. The brain's plasticity is lifelong, but it requires the raw material of failure and feedback. Comfort withholds both. Evolution, the original designer, never intended stagnation as an option. For 300,000 years, Homo sapiens survived by migrating, inventing, and outrunning predators. The genes that favored cautious energy conservation during famine now misfire in an age of abundance. Comfort hacks the ancient reward system. Rest after hunt equals survival, while ignoring the modern context. Rest after Netflix equals stagnation. Geneticist David Reich's sequencing of ancient genomes shows that populations who stayed geographically static for millennia display lower allelic diversity and higher disease susceptibility. The same principle scales to individuals. The longer you marinate in comfort, the more your physiological and psychological genome expresses fragility. Stagnation isn't a side effect of comfort. It is the biological endpoint. In the modern workplace, comfort masquerades as loyalty to the familiar spreadsheet, the same Monday morning script, the inbox you've already tamed. You tell yourself mastery of the current toolset is efficiency. But every quarter, the goalposts move. A 2024 McKinsey report tracked 800 mid-career professionals. Those who spent less than 5 hours a week on deliberate upskilling were 68% more likely to be automated out of their roles within 3 years. The ones who clung to comfort didn't lose their jobs to a single thunderclap announcement. They were nibbled away by younger hires who spoke Python, by algorithms that wrote cleaner reports, by AI that scheduled meetings faster. The pink slip arrives politely wrapped in corporate jargon. Role elimination due to digital transformation. But the autopsy is always the same. Death by obsolescence, one unlearned skill at a time. Relationships, too, suffocate under comfort's soft weight. You stop planning date nights because Netflix and takeout feel easier. You swallow small resentments because picking your battles sounds wise. A 2023 study in the Journal of Marriage and Family followed 2,000 couples over a decade. Pairs who reported zero conflict in year 1 had a 41% divorce rate by year 10. Triple the rate of couples who argued constructively. Comfort teaches you to mistake silence for harmony, avoidance for maturity. The unspoken grievances calcify into separate bedrooms, separate hobbies, separate lives lived under the same roof. When the breakup finally happens, it feels sudden to outsiders, but the partners know the truth. The relationship didn't explode. It quietly starved while both parties stayed cozy on their own sides of the couch. Health delivers the cruelest invoice. The average office worker sits 9.5 hours a day, more than they sleep. Comfort says the standing desk is gimmicky, the 7 a.m. spin class is for fanatics. By age 40, the consequences compound. A 2024 Lancet study of 1.2 million adults found that every additional hour of daily sedentary time after age 25 correlates with a 22% higher risk of cardiovascular mortality, independent of exercise later in the week. The body keeps meticulous records, tight hip flexors, elevated fasting glucose, creeping visceral fat around the organs. You don't notice until the doctor uses words like a pre-diabetic or early-stage fatty liver. And even then, comfort whispers, 1 more month of salads and you'll reverse it. The reversal never comes because comfort always negotiates for tomorrow. Society itself begins to wobble when millions choose comfort in unison. Voter turnout in stable democracies hovers below 60% because showing up feels inconvenient. Climate action stalls because recycling 1 extra bottle feels like enough effort. A 2025 Pew survey revealed that 74% of Gen Z adults want systemic change, but only 19% have contacted a public official in the past year. Comfort privatizes ambition. Curate your feed, perfect your playlist, optimize your coffee order, and let the world burn at a safe distance. The collective cost is a civilization that innovates in apps but stagnates in infrastructure, that streams 8K video while bridges rust. Comfort doesn't just shrink individual lives, it shrinks the future we all inherit. The final ledger is written in the quiet currency of regret. At 65, the retired engineer remembers the startup idea he never pitched. The empty nester scrolls through photos of the marathon her knees weren't ready for. The divorcee realizes the hard conversation she postponed became the marriage she lost. 2022 Cornell study of 1,500 adults over 70 asked for their single biggest life regret. 76% cited opportunities not seized, not mistakes made. Comfort rarely appears on the deathbed confession list by name, yet it is the silent accomplice in every "I wish I had." The modern world offers more choices than any generation before, and Comfort's genius is convincing you that choosing nothing is still a choice. It isn't. It's surrender, paid in installments too small to notice, until the balance comes due. Start before the sun has an opinion. Tomorrow, set your alarm 30 minutes earlier than your body expects and refuse to negotiate. Do not check your phone. Instead, drink a glass of water and step outside. Barefoot, if the weather allows. Feel the cold ground, the sharp air, the involuntary shiver. This is not punishment. It is calibration. Your nervous system wakes up, cortisol rises in a controlled pulse, and the day begins on your terms rather than Comfort's. One small act of defiance compounds. Within a week, you will notice sharper mornings, fewer mid-afternoon crashes, and the quiet pride of having stolen time back from the snooze button. The first victory is microscopic, but it is yours. Choose one dragon and name it out loud. Not a vague get in shape or be more productive, but a single measurable quest that scares you. Run 5 kilometers without stopping, deliver a 10-minute presentation to your team, cook a 3-course meal for strangers. Write the goal on a sticky note and tape it to your bathroom mirror. Every morning it stares back unblinking. Break the dragon into daily bites. Today, jog to the corner and walk back. Tomorrow, add another block. Track progress in a notebook, not an app. The friction of pen on paper keeps the promise honest. When the inevitable voice whispers a skip today, you're tired. Answer aloud, I'm not today. Speaking the refusal rewires the habit loop faster than silent willpower ever could. Curate your circle like a museum, not a buffet. Identify the 3 people whose conversations leave you charged rather than drained, and schedule time with them weekly. Coffee, walk, video call, no excuses. Simultaneously, create distance from the comfort enablers. The friend who always suggests a one more drink, the group chat that devolves into memes by 9 p.m. You do not need to ghost anyone. Simply let invitations expire unanswered. Replace the slots with mentors, podcasts, or mastermind groups that speak the language of growth. A 2023 Stanford study found that peer influence accounts for 61% of variance in goal attainment. Surround yourself with discomfort seekers, and their gravity will pull you forward even on days your own engine sputters. Build a failure budget and spend liberally. Decide in advance that this month you will collect 3 rejections. 1 pitch denied, 1 workout missed and rescheduled, 1 social invitation declined with honesty. Treat each as to it. When the rejection arrives, dissect it within 24 hours. What specifically stung, what data it revealed, what micro-adjustment it demands. Write the insight on a flashcard and review the stack weekly. Over time, the sting dulls and the signal strengthens. You begin to crave the feedback loop more than the approval. Companies like Google institutionalize this with a moonshot funerals, celebrating ambitious flops. Individuals can do the same with a simple ritual. After every setback, pour a drink, water or whiskey, and toast the lesson. Failure stops being a verdict and becomes raw material. Finally, schedule discomfort the way executives schedule earnings calls, non-negotiable, recurring, visible to others. Block a 90-minute growth appointment on your shared calendar every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Label it clearly. A skill lab or a cold outreach hour. Tell your partner, your roommate, your dog. When the slot approaches, Treat cancellation like embezzlement. Use the time for the exact activity that makes your palms sweat. Recording a video, submitting the manuscript, asking for the raise. After 12 weeks, audit the ledger. Skills gained, doors open, fears shrunk. You will discover a strange arithmetic. 90 minutes of discomfort compounds into years of expanded life. The call to action is not a slogan. It is a standing appointment with the person you refuse to outlive. Keep it, and comfort will never write your obituary.